Hey guys, what's up? It's Flynn here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to build the Shedu. This is the sentient arm cannon that you can get by doing Railjack and then going into the Veil and waiting for like a time-gated event to happen and then doing said time-gated event. That event is going to get you a prologue quest, and upon completion you're going to get the blueprint for the Shedu. You then have to jump back into Railjack, wait for that event thing to pop up again, and kill the enemies that were on that ship that spawned in because of the event to get the parts for the Shedu. Then you can put it together and then you can play around with it. Now, it's an interesting weapon simply because it's unlimited ammo. It's got 7 shots in a magazine, and whenever it runs out of ammo in the magazine, it's going to do like an AoE explosion. Now, there are 2 different elemental damage types that are on the Shedu at base, but then whenever you start throwing on your elemental damage mods, of course, that is going to change up, right? So I'm going to be showing 2 different builds today. One is a 100 munition viral beam build, you know, as usual, that I throw on crit weapons, and then another one is a straight up crit weapon. Honestly, I can't figure out myself which one I prefer because they're both pretty good. One thing I will note is you probably want to be playing a Warframe that gives you like a bonus to fire rate in some way, shape, or form, or also use arcanes like arcane acceleration to buff up the fire rate, because at base, the fire rate for this weapon is pretty slow, and I'm not a big fan of it, you know, when it is that slow, right? So using the likes of Gauss or Wisp or something, that's whenever this weapon shines, at least in my opinion, and I'm going to show you guys an example of using the weapon with Wisp. So the first build that I'm going to be demonstrating today is my config A, which is our 100 munitions viral being combination, where we've got Serration, we've got Prime Being of Corrupted, this is for our double dipping, we've got Split Chamber on there for our multi-shot, Point Strike, and Vital Sense because we need crit chance and crit damage, Malignant Force, and Rhyme Rounds to strip away the enemy's health, right? So that's going to half the enemy's health over a certain amount of time whenever viral actually procs, and then we've got 100 munitions on there to apply the slash procs, which is going to eat away at the enemy's health as well, and because of course the health is halved, well then that makes slash procs even more effective, and then the more crits we get, the more slash procs we get, basically, right? So yeah, let me just demonstrate this here build real quick with level 110 paused enemies. Now the paused enemies aren't going to give me any type of damage bonus, that's only for melee, just to clarify, because a lot of people have that misconception. But yeah, let's just go ahead and simulate them. I don't know whether or not I want to stand in front of these guys to shoot them in the head to get like that headshot multiplier. I don't even know if that's a thing, or if I just want to stand up on top of this pillar. I guess we can do it both ways. So I'll go in front of them first. This is with no fire rate buffs whatsoever. We're just going to go ahead and try our best to shoot the head, and you'll see how quickly these guys die, right? So I should have also showed you guys the stats of the weapon to show you the AoE damage. We'll do that whenever we jump back into the armory. You can see that these guys die pretty quickly as long as we're hitting our shots. So, you know, those slash procs and whatnot, they eat away the enemy's health pretty quick because you're dealing a pretty hefty amount of damage at base. So it's like it's a BFG, you know, it's a big gun. It deals decent amounts of damage, right? So the damage types on our regular fire is heat and viral, and then on our AoE attack, which I don't know if you guys noticed it, but that is your electric and viral, right? So you probably noticed a few electric procs on there. So just to show you again, you run out of ammo, and then it does that little explosion right there, and then that's your electric plus viral combination that shows up on the stats right there. So yep, that's the first build. And then moving on to the second build, this is just your straight up crit build with your triple elemental 90% mods with Serration. Heavy caliber on here for more damage. Now you can swap that out for something different. It's totally up to you. You could throw on the likes of a Prime Beam mod if you really want to, but I just wanted to throw heavy caliber on there for the sake of simplicity. And on top of the fact, I'm using this more as like a splash damage weapon where I'm like shooting it at my feet a lot to just kill enemies that are sort of like caught in a blast, right? So it's not necessarily like a single target DPS weapon because there's better weapons for that. This is more like an AoE primary weapon that I've been using. So yep, Split Chamber again for our multi-shot, Vital Sense, Point Strike for our crit, Infected Clip, Stormbringer, Hellfire for our elemental damage and elemental bonuses and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and jump in and test out this build, just shooting the enemies in the head, right? So they're both pretty good, honestly. This one kills a little bit quicker, I think. I'm not sure. I think so. It's just like The other build probably does a little bit better in the AoE category whenever you're not going for those headshots and the enemies like aren't super tight together. So both builds are good. It's just down to you which one you want to do. I would say that the first build would probably scale a little bit better, like into super deep endgame content. And then the second build is just good if you're playing like your average sorties and stuff like that. I wouldn't be using this weapon in endgame content, so I'd probably recommend to you guys the second build over the first build. So yeah, let's go back to the first build. And I'll show you guys it like standing away from the enemies and then shooting them from a distance, because it's got a pretty hefty splash. You notice that those viral procs spread pretty effectively, and then you've got those slash procs on there as well, which also spread. And these guys just die relatively quickly. The only thing is, because I'm not standing near them, I'm not getting that that explosion effect, right? So we're losing out in damage there technically, but without the fire rate mods, or the fire rate buff, sorry, that I get from Wisp, this is actually pretty slow just shooting them from a distance. We're not getting that headshot multiplier, which is hurting our damage as well. So the damage numbers are lower there. So let's just go ahead and jump in and check out the other build. Our config B. Spawn them in again. Stand on top of our little pillar here. We deal more damage to the enemy that we're aiming at. Yeah, I think. I don't know, like, honestly, it's hard for me to tell. I think the second build, in all honesty. Second build for, like, your average content. And then the first build for your scaling content, where you're taking it into super high level. But, I don't know. It's difficult. Definitely difficult. But let's just go ahead and use the fire rate buff now. This is the second build again. So this is your pure crit builds. With no 100 munitions, no viral. Just corrosive damage. Completely different weapon. Completely different weapon, at least in my opinion. What I also want to try in this video as well is making a gas build to use against Corpus, because I think that that's going to be pretty cool to check out. Didn't kill that last guy right there, but yeah, we killed those guys pretty quickly. Let's just go ahead and throw on the 100 munitions and viral builds versus those guys as well. Obviously, if the armor was stripped away on those guys, like you used Ash's Seeking Shuriken or something like that to strip away the armor, would also be really good to use the first build as well, because then you're just dealing more damage because they don't have that armor to reduce your overall damage. So everything would just be better in that case. So let's just go ahead and check this out. So it's all about getting that viral proc off and then stacking up those slash procs. So I don't know, I'm definitely preferring the second build right now. That being said, like, because those slash procs are there and the viral procs are there, it lets me move on to the next target a little bit quicker. Like, we have to spend less time on one individual target, right? So, you know, both builds are good in their own right. I wouldn't write either of them off. Let's go ahead and put together a gas build right now, because I want to just test it out. So Vital Sense, Split Chamber, Thermite rounds would be going on there because of what we're building. Serration. And we need our Malignant Force. I'm going to go ahead and type that in instead of looking for it, because that's a mod that I can never find. We need our Hunter Munitions. There we go. We're going to throw on Prime Beam of Corpus, because the gas isn't really going to work if we're going against armored enemies. And then the last one that I'm looking for is Point Strike, which is our crit chance. Cool. So this would be a gas build. Let's just go ahead and take a look at the stats. So we've got gas, and we've got electric and gas, which actually works out pretty well because of the shields that the Corpus are going to have. So let's go for Corpus Techs. And again, we'll stand right in front of them and we'll headshot them. We'll do that first. Then we'll do the AoE from the pillar, and then we'll do the AoE from the pillar and the headshot with the fire rate bonus. So, yep, as expected, these guys just die pretty quickly. Corpus definitely aren't like a tanky faction, but that was 110% to be expected. So let's go ahead and do it from the pillar, and they just die. There was the damage over time from the slash and also the gas, which is insane. And then one more time, or we can do it 2 more times. Let's go in front of him. Oops, didn't mean to do that. There we go. Headshot with the fire rate mods. They die really fast. And then one more time from the pillar. Just to demonstrate the AoE splash with the fire rate buff. Why did I keep on swapping that? I'm an idiot. There we go. And they die very, very, very fast. So, you know, just to demonstrate this versus the armored enemies with the gas builds, not going to work because you're just not dealing enough base damage to have those damage over time procs, you know, deal a decent amount. Well, still pretty okay damage, but nothing insane, nothing compared to the other two builds. On top of that, I've also got a primed Being of Corpus mod on, so even if we were to swap that up, where's my corrupted? There it is. You know, you still don't deal enough damage with the gas procs because of the armor that they have on, so it's not worth using gas versus those enemies. If you go back to our config B, you could swap out this other elemental mod for the likes of Prime Shred if you really wanted to as well, to up that fire rate. So you put a mod like Point Strike there, and then you throw Point Strike, or not Point Strike, Prime Shred into the slot that Point Strike was in. And then if we spawn in the Heavy Gunners again, we'll be able to buff up our fire rate even more. So that's another option you can go down. So this is without the what's it called? The buff. And then if you throw the buff on with Wisp or something, it gets even more insane. But I feel like we're dealing significantly less damage because we don't have that other element on. So personally, probably wouldn't go for it. I don't know why we're not dealing the insane splash damage anymore. Kind of, is it because that thing's in the way? I don't know. There's the splash. That's interesting. Oh, look at this animation. Holy. Yeah, I have no idea why the splash isn't working anymore. It was working this entire video and it's not working now. That's interesting. Did I change anything too significant there? I don't think I did. Interesting. Okay, well that's weird. But yeah, those are the builds that I would use. I would just stick with the triple elemental and the 90% damage mods. What was the one called? I forget the name of it. Why did I forget the name of it? Hellfire, that's it. There you go. So I would stick with this here build. I don't know, this one just seems to be the most consistent versus the level 110 heavy gunners that I was testing against. This one I would say would scale better. And then you've got your config C, which I was using versus the Corpus, because, you know, they don't have any armor, so those gas procs and those slash procs are going to deal a lot of damage over time. You've also got your Exilus slot. I don't really know what other mod I would run that falls under Exilus. I would like to have, like, my zoom while gliding reduced, because, you know, you don't need to throw on an ammo mod on there, because it's got infinite ammo, so, I don't know. This is just cool to me. I think it helps me aim a little bit better. There's the splash working again. Weird game. And of course they die now. But yeah, it's a cool weapon. Not one of my personal favorites, but it's definitely cool. I don't know. I still prefer my Corinth and my sort of like high skill, high accuracy, tons of damage to single target type weapons. So yeah, that's how I would go about building the Shedu. Let me know what builds you would use in the comment section below. Leave a like in the video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, subscribe for more Warframe content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.